What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están, boys? Here. Welcome back to another match reaction here on the channel. And today we got Borussia Dortmund nil, Barcelona nil, in a game that, if we take everything into account, the context of not having Messi for 65 minutes, then having Ansu Fati instead, Jordi Alba going out in the first half, Marc-André Stegen saving a penalty, and just the overall team, which is just in early stages, I will take a 0-0 draw at the Signal Iduna Park, because you know what? It means that we got one of the hardest games, if not the hardest, like I said, of the entire campaign, of the entire year out of the way, and we managed to come out alive out of it. A 1 point that in the short term will look very dull, very shallow, but in the realm of possibilities that can happen in this group is something that certainly Barcelona can build upon. If we take a look at Inter and their 1-1 draw against Slavia Praga, that's a win. That's a game that they had to win and they didn't. So that's less possibilities of them now progressing to the next stages. Whilst in the realm of Barcelona, losing at the Signal Iduna Park was a possibility. So getting a point, it's positive in my book. So that is just my opinion about the 0-0 draw. I guess that some of you can make different assumptions about it. But now let's get right into how I think Valverde lined up this team, because there are some very interesting things that we can take away from it. The very first of those was, for me, Ansu Fati, of course. It was the headliner of everyone in the Champions League this fixture, because the 16 years old was becoming Barcelona's youngest ever player, starter, whatever, in the Champions League. And there was a huge, just, I know, momentum around in Twitter of people saying like, oh, now this guy's going to score a hat-trick or whatever. But yeah, let's all take it at its time. I think that the situation of him playing his very third game with Barcelona now, at the Champions League against Dortmund, was a little bit too premature. I think that putting the expectations of starting with the team from the get-go were a little bit too high, and just keeping him at the bench, and introducing him when you just tell him, play, go out there, show me what you got, and see if you can fix this for us. That's a different context entirely. So I think that's a much better way to approach the progression of Ansu Fati, rather than putting him into big games like this one. I think that for the start, it's fine, but it's just kind of like a thing I'm nitpicking for the future. So just Valverde, keep that in mind when you are planning the games ahead of this. Now that you got Messi back, I'm guessing that we are not going to be seeing Ansu Fati for a while. Also, the introduction and the continuous faith that now Valverde has on Arthur and Frankie de Jong is something that really makes me happy for the foreseeable future, because in the long term of things, we're going to be having a midfield that understands each other in every single sort of kind of aspect of the game. And it clearly showed in the very first half, a first half where Barcelona were able to get past that pressure of Borussia Dortmund and continuously just grow into the game as the minutes went on. And really, Delaney, Witsel, Royce, Hazard, or even by that manner Jadon Sancho, when they were pressuring us, De Jong and Arthur were always ready to get past that. So I was very happy that they just had the qualities in them to do so, and how they look to have that understanding between them. When Arthur was coming to pick the ball, Frankie de Jong already was to be looking to join into the attack, and vice versa, with Sergio Busquets just being in the right position for whenever a counter-attack may strike. And this is where I want to go into the first half, because I think that aspect of the first half was the only bad thing Barcelona did. The creation was a little bit weak. We could have been a little bit more efficient in the way that we did so. I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later on. But now focusing onto the CDM, Sergio Busquets, in the facet of the game when we had to stop the counterattacks from Dortmund, we just looked very, and I mean very vulnerable. Every time that Borussia Dortmund got the ball, and that wasn't often, they looked dangerous. They looked like Jadon Sancho, Marco Reus, or Paco Alcácer were going to finish a goal, and they all had chances in the very first half to do so. So that is something that I do not encourage Barcelona to follow, and I think that Ernesto Valverde really understood that wasn't going to work in the long term of things, because he took out Sergio Busquets, a player that before was untouchable, and now with Frankie de Jong in our team, we can allow us that flexibility in the midfield to play around with the assets and just the ingredients that we have. So very good positive substitution for me of Ernesto Valverde later on in the second half. But well, now into the chance creation, for me, I want to criticize in a positive sense, constructive feedback to Antoine Griezmann. I think that Antoine Griezmann needed to drop back a little bit more into the middle. He was always sticking to the left. That might not be necessarily a decision of him, might be one of Ernesto Valverde, just to try and open up the defense, stretch it out, for someone in the middle like Suarez to have a little bit more space. But I think that whenever he was overlapping, he was defending, it was all right. I was really happy now that we have a player like that that is committed to defending. But I also wanted an extra man for the middle because the chances were not clear. With Lionel Messi on the side in the second half, we seem to improve that a little bit. Messi still looked a little bit sloppy in a sense. He was fresh, happy, motivated to do anything. But when it came to the weight of the pass, you know, the angle, the direction, it was a little bit still too kind of like preseason-esque. I'm expecting him to just get way better instantly, probably by the game already to Granada. So I don't have to worry about that. But when Messi is not there on the field, we need somebody else to do so. And right now, Antoine Griezmann can be that man if he just commits himself to, well, a little bit more of an overall, I don't know, greater game. But that's also on Ernesto Valverde. I don't know what instruction he was given. But yeah, that's my only nitpicky of the first half. In the second half, we saw a Borussia Dortmund that certainly Lucien Favre had to touch something on that dressing room because they looked just so fired up. The very first 10 minutes of Dortmund was really good, and they even had the chance to go in front in the scoreboard with that penalty that Nelson Semedo committed on Jadon Sancho, which was a clear penalty, not these questions asked really. VAR wasn't even needed. A yellow card was shown to Semedo, bam, and it was Royce taking the shot from the penalty kick. And well, a great save by Ter Stegen. I was gonna say that he missed it, but in reality, it was probably 90% of the work for Marc-André Ter Stegen. It was a superb serve, and after that, he grew immensely, but also the team that were a little bit kind of just thinking, okay, we got this, you know, with the same performance of the first half, we are gonna be able to do this. But no, eventually you're gonna need to step up your game because Borussia Dortmund are gonna do so as well. And that penalty waked us up. That penalty gave Barcelona, okay, the reaction of, okay, this is not going good. They are gonna score. They just almost scored. So now we need to just improve ourselves. And everything looked to be faster. Valverde introduced Ivan Rakitic for Sergio Busquets, putting De Jong in that hold, and everything looked to work much, much better. And I really, really like that. I really like our ability to react. I said how in my match preview, Barcelona were going to be measured not by necessarily how they're going to start the game, but how their ability to react is going to be. Are they going to have resilience? And they showed, in this game, that it had it. Thankfully, it came from a penalty being saved and not a goal being scored. So we have to keep also those 10 minutes where we are kind of relaxed, just off our game. I know it can happen sometimes, but there always has to be someone on that field ready to wake everyone up. There has to be a commander of the manager. Normally, there's a guy that a manager instates. It's normally your captain, but in Lionel Messi, when your captain doesn't speak too much, you might want to find somebody else that can do that, speak up and gain everybody back into kind of like a war mode mentality. And that's what we need to see from Barcelona more often for the second half. I think that after that, Barcelona just dominated the game, really, with Lionel Messi, with Sergio Roberto overlapping for the right, Nelson Semedo for the left. Roberto had a very good game, I think, in attack and gave us a lot of outlets. He was just superb on finding out the space, and there were so many times that we would just ping it onto him, and there was a clear cross, either a low ball or just an overhead, and something was going to happen. Suarez perhaps heads it in, Griezmann comes through the left-hand side. It never really was constructed good enough to be an actual goal, but those outlets are there when we have Sergio Roberto through the right-hand side. I still think that Semedo should be the starter, but it's just interesting to see that Roberto still gives us opportunities. It's not that he's like neglected entirely. He's still a right back, a player for Barcelona, and that can help us a lot like he did today. And then finally, I guess that the last thing that I want to mention is that chance at the end with Messi. Oh my God. If that would have gone in, it would have been the perfect end to this game. In a game that it was fair, I think fair enough that both have 1 point. I think that Dortmund got incredible chances with Julian Brandt. Paco Alcácer missed 2 on point blank range. But if we would have won it with that Lionel Messi, it would have been that Lionel Messi shot. It would have been incredible. Like Lionel Messi coming back from Ansu Fati, you know, and then scoring. That would have been just kind of like the cherry on top of the cake. And well, with that, I just kind of end what I think happened in the game. I think that overall we did good. You already know my thoughts. But now I want to give and devote a little bit more time to 2 individual players. The very first one, Ter Stegen. I think that with a situation when you have Neuer questioning you, you know, your captain of your national team, questioning you for the statements that you've made, And everybody being like, oh yeah, you just gotta relax, no, you're still the first, just wait your turn. Everybody's kind of like saying to Tosten, wait your turn. And he to come here, a ground where he has lost every single time with Borussia Mönchengladbach, and put that performance in, save our asses like multiple times against Royce, like 3 times he saved us. Is just superb. Like really, I take my hat off to Marc André ter Stegen, but I'm sorry in saying that you are not my man of the match. My man of the match for me was Arthur Melo. Arthur was just so much prepared. He looked so better physically, and he was ready like to take the corners all the time. Doesn't matter left, right, free kicks. He just, of course, Messi wasn't there, but in reality, it's just something good to see in Arthur that he's willing to do that. And then I also want to comment on, he was running, he was pressuring me. I was kind of worried that with Arthur and Frankie de Jong, we just have players that like to touch the ball, and we wouldn't have any players that would like to mark. But no, that's not the case. De Jong was up to the task. I knew that he had it in him, but with Arthur, I didn't know that at all. Arthur just put a performance of an overall complete midfielder. And really kudos to you, because I thought that Arthur was just going to be a kind of metronome player for us, but he showed quality that I wasn't expecting. And that is something that shows a player progressing, a player growing. So it's good to have you, and let's play you every single game, because if you can do that on the big nights, I want you in my team. So good job for Arthur, and I give him my man of the match. So with all of that being said, guys, I guess that I've covered pretty much it. I think that if we would have seen more goals, of course, it would have given us a little more to talk about. But in reality, with the situation of our team right now, our group story 1-1-1 every single 1 point, I think that it's fine. We still have to look out for those games at Slavia Praga. I really think they're going to be a really big trouble. I really think so, especially away. And then at the San Siro or Giuseppe Meazza. Those away games is something that we need to fix. We need to get an away win, and that's like soon, like now. We should get one against Granada, please, hopefully. Granada has been amazing away from home, not really that best at home, so let's go there, get the 3 points, and take that away from us, that we just simply leave all the tactics back at home in a locker, because we simply do not take them away. I want to fix that mentality. And one final thing, kudos to Valencia. Valencia beating Chelsea with a goal from Rodrigo Moreno in the 77 or 73 minute, I think it was. Very good. Very good to bounce back with that situation of Marcelino and everything. So I just wanted to mention that quickly, because I was really impressed for them getting the 3 points, especially after what happened. So overall, guys, great night of Champions League. It's great to have you back on the channel. I feel great with having all this kind of rhythm back again. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Ciao.